Okay, now we're going to move to consideration of care. All right, awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. All right, so there are two carpet-related items on the agenda today. The first is consideration of CARE's fulfillment of conditions associated with the approval of its 2018 through 2022 California Carpet Stewardship Plan. Staff have prepared a joint presentation to cover both of the stewardship program items on today's agenda. The first item is an informational item, and that's going to be presented by Fareed Farhut, and that is about CARE's 2018 annual report that was submitted on September 1st of this year. Because CARE was operating under an expired plan from 2011 to 2016, or its expired 2011 to 2016 plan, which is allowed by the department, until the department conditionally approved CARE's 2018 through 2022 plan, CalRecycle will not be making a compliance determination regarding the 2018 annual report. So this is just an informational item. However, staff has conducted an analysis of the 2018 annual report and compared metrics that CARE reported this in the previous year, in the 2017 program year. And so staff will summarize that analysis in this presentation. The second item will be presented by Robin Gillum and is a request for approval regarding CARE's Chapter 0 report and the supporting documents that came along with that. So this was September 3rd of 2019, CARE submitted its Chapter 0 report, which describes CARE's efforts associated with fulfilling the requirements of the department's conditional approval of the 2018 through 2022 plan. Staff have evaluated the report and supporting documents and will summarize their conclusion. So now I'd like to ask for Fareed Farhut and Robin Gillum to present these items. And after the presentation, we'll welcome any comments. Thank you, Fareed.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning. My name is Fareed Farhut. I'm a senior environmental scientist at the statewide Technical and Analytical Resources branch here at CalRecycle. I would like to start by going over selected program dates. This slide presents a brief background of major events that preceded today's items. CARE's last fully approved plan ended on December 31st, 2016. On October 16, 2018, CalRecycle conditionally approved CARE's 2018-2022 plan, which was conditioned on CARE fulfilling all conditions listed in staff's request for approval. On December 15th, CARE submitted Chapter 0, which outlined CARE's commitment to fulfill the conditions of plan approval. CalRecycle approved CARE's 2018-2022 plan, including Chapter 0, on February 19, 2019. On September 1st, 2019, CARE submitted its California Carpet Stewardship Program 2018 annual report. And on September 3rd, 2019, CARE submitted its Chapter 0 report and accompanying documents to CalRecycle, which describe CARE's efforts to meet the requirements of CalRecycle's October 2018 RFA. In this informational item regarding CARE's 2018 annual report, I will compare selected program matrices from 2017 and 2018. As Matt mentioned, we are not making a compliance determination because CARE was operating under an expired 2011-2016 plan, and the department, until the department conditionally approved CARE's 2018-2022 plan in October of 2018. Staff conducted an analysis of CARE's 2018 annual report and compared selected matrices that CARE reported in 2018 against the same matrices that CARE reported in 2017. And they are summarized in this table, and I will talk about just a few of them. CARE defines recycling rate as proportion of carpet discards converted into recycle output. And recycle output is considered as the sum of reused and materials that results from industry-recognized processes such as shredding, shearing, hammer milling, depolymerization, etc., of post-consumer carpet by a processor. The recycling rate for 2017 was 14% compared to 15.3% in 2018. Excuse me. CARE-supported drop-off sites, also known as public drop-off sites, are generally placed at traditional disposal locations such as transfer stations, landfills, material recovery facilities, or construction and demolition recovery facilities. In 2018, there were 53 CARE-supported drop-off sites serving 47 counties, compared to 44 CARE drop-off sites serving 41 counties in 2017. There were 11 counties in 2018 that did not have public drop-off sites. CARE expanded its education and outreach efforts and funding in 2018, taking a number of actions to increase education and outreach, which included promotional materials to California retailers and participating public drop-off sites, engaging with installers through in-person outreach and informational videos, tabling at various conferences and events, and working with Cascadia to conduct a convenient collection study. The budget for outreach and education was increased from $785,000 to $1.3 million in 2018, an increase of 66%. The different methods used to recover energy under this program are carpet as an alternative fuel, or CAF, cement kiln, and waste to energy, or WTE. In 2018, no post-consumer carpet was used for CAF or cement kiln. 1.8 million pounds of post-consumer carpet was used for waste to energy compared to 9.8 million pounds in 2017, a reduction of 82%. CARE discontinued all subsidies for CAF and cement kiln effective January 1st of 2018, and has never subsidized waste to energy. Waste to energy is not counted as a recycling output. This graph shows a recycling rate since the start of the program. The CARES program had an initial recycling rate of 6.5%, and as of 2018, it is at 15.3%. CARE reported in its second quarter of 2019 that it had reached a recycling rate of 18.4%. As a reminder, a recycling rate of 24% by January 1st, 2020 is mandated by statute. Before I turn over the presentation to my colleague, Robin Gillum, I would like to reiterate that we are not making a compliance determination because CARE was operating under its expired 2011-2016 plan for most of 2018. Thank you. Robin?
All right, so in this part of the presentation, I will go through the factors that went into staff's recommendation regarding CARES Chapter 0 implementation, including our analysis of CARES Chapter 0 report and stakeholder comments. After that, I will talk about the options we are presenting to the director and our proposed next steps. Before I start, I would like to remind you that CARES 2018 through 2022 plan was approved in February of this year, and this request for approval evaluates CARES implementation of Chapter 0 of its plan. While CARE demonstrated that it made an effort to complete the requirements of the department's October 16th, 2018 request for approval, CARE did not fully implement Chapter 0 of its approved plan. Staff have provided a thorough review of CARES Chapter 0 report and the supporting documents in today's request for approval, which can be found on the public notice. But for the sake of time, I will highlight some of the incomplete requirements. CARE submitted a cost analysis that failed to provide crucial information requested by the department, including demonstration that the funding mechanism is sufficient for CARE to meet statutory and programmatic goals. Additionally, CARE did not validate its subsidy justification model. CARE also submitted the convenient collection study, which validates data reported by CARE that flooring professionals, including installers and retailers, generate the majority of post-consumer carpet collected through the program. However, CARE's proposed goals did not address how the program will provide convenience for flooring professionals. Additionally, CARE failed to complete audits of collector sorters as required. CalRecycle solicited comments from stakeholders to be submitted no later than September 25th. The department received 4 letters from stakeholders. 2 letters, including one from the advisory committee, provided recommendations regarding the content of CARE's Chapter 0 report and its program in general. For example, the advisory committee recommended that CARE utilize its authority, such as its member in good standing agreement with subsidy recipients, to obtain all relevant financial data necessary for CARE to complete an economic analysis that meets CalRecycle's requirements. 2 letters recommended either disapproval or conditional approval because CARE did not fully implement Chapter 0. While staff considered all public comments, CARE's Chapter 0 report is a review of its approved plan, and therefore the Chapter 0 report was analyzed for compliance and not for approval, conditional approval, or disapproval. After analyzing CARE's Chapter 0 report, staff present the following options for the director's consideration. The first option for the director's consideration would defer a compliance determination regarding CARE's implementation of Chapter 0 of its approved plan. The director would direct staff to work with CARE to establish timelines that CARE must meet to fulfill all the remaining requirements specified in CalRecycle's October 16th, 2018 request for approval, and monitor CARE's fulfillment of the remaining requirements as described in this RFA by the agreed upon timelines. If timelines are not agreed to by January 13th, 2020, or CARE does not fulfill any of the requirements within the agreed upon timelines, staff shall refer CARE to the Waste Permitting and Compliance Mitigation Division for enforcement. The second option for the director's consideration is to find that CARE did not comply with Chapter 0 of its approved plan and did not fulfill all the requirements of CalRecycle's October 16th, 2018 request for approval and refer CARE for enforcement. In addition to the department's requirements, Assembly Bill 729 made a number of changes to the Product Stewardships for Carpet law and requires CARE to make additional modifications to its plan that CalRecycle did not anticipate when the October 16, 2018 request for approval was written. As part of any option that the director selects, staff shall be directed to work with CARE to establish timelines by January 13, 2020 for CARE to fulfill requirements of Assembly Bill 729, which includes submitting a contingency plan, setting up a trust fund or escrow account, and establishing and implementing a system of differential assessments. Changes to the plan, which include the contingency plan and system of differential assessments, will require CARE to submit a draft to the advisory committee for review per statute. If CARE does not meet the agreed upon timelines to comply with the requirements of AB 729, staff will refer CARE for enforcement. Following careful analysis of CARE's Chapter 0 report and consideration of the requirements of AB 729, staff recommended the director select option 1. If the director accepts staff's recommendation to choose option 1, staff will work with CARE to establish timelines to fulfill all of the remaining requirements specified in CalRecycle's October 16, 2018 RFA and the requirements of AB 729. These slides are posted to today's public meeting notice. If you'd like to receive updates from us, follow the link to sign up for the CalRecycle Carpet Listserv. This concludes our staff presentation, and we will turn it back to Matt. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin and Fareed. So we're opening for comments, and so we've got a microphone, and if you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. Okay, I see one over here.
My name is Joanne Brush. I'm speaking on behalf of the California Product Stewardship Council. Today I'll have comments on both the Chapter 0 report and the annual report. We thank CalRecycle for their assessment of CARE's Chapter 0 report. We agree that CalRecycle's finding that CARE did not demonstrate implementation of Chapter 0 as promised in February 2019, and the requirements were not fulfilled by September 2019. Similar to the findings in October 2018, and one of the main reasons the plan was disapproved in May 2018 is that CARE's models and studies lack transparency and validation, which are required by statute and expected from the stewards of California fee money. We understand that CalRecycle and CARE need time to update the plan with the changes made by AB 729, which will significantly improve the plan. But we hope these timelines are aggressive with a clear plan for enforcement should CARE fail to meet the program requirements again. Simultaneous to the issues of the 2018 to 2024 plan, CARE continues to challenge the fines levied against them by CalRecycle from the 2013 to 2016 non-compliance. And we hope we can get a program that works in California soon. CPSC appreciates the opportunity to comment and will remain engaged as CARE implements the final requirements or potentially face revocation. And regarding the annual report, we do understand that there will not be a determinants of compliance. However, we would like to point out a few findings in the annual report that we find indicative that CARE is not maximizing the recycling potential of carpet sold in California. In 2018, CARE sent 251 million pounds of carpet to the landfill, which is significantly higher than the 49 million recycled. In July 2018, record shows the advisory committee recommended that CARE describe the activities taken to address perfluoroalkyl substances, commonly known as PFAS, and the microfibers in their program. Environmental concerns about PFAS and microfibers can be directly related to the activities performed under the approved plan, as CARE pays incentives to users of carpet and water and environmental applications. Although CARE responded with a rejection to that motion, claiming the topic of PFAS and microfibers lie beyond the purview of the program, and possibly just a coincidence, but just a few weeks later, two of the largest retailers in the United States announced a quick phase out of all carpet containing PFAS. Both Home Depot and Lowe's hope to phase this out by the end of the year. So whether or not that's a coincidence, we do, since this action happened under 2019, under an approved plan, we do hope, we expect to see PFAS and microfibers addressed in the next annual report. So thank you.
All right, good morning. My name is Jordan Wells with the National Stewardship Action Council, or NSAC. NSAC was the sponsor of AB 729, a cleanup bill for this program, which was just signed by Governor Newsom in October and does not go into effect until January. AB 729 improves the existing CARE program by mandating eco-modulated fees visible to the consumers to ensure they know through price signals which carpets are designed for the environment. The goal of the eco-modulated fees is to drive green design of carpet, and eco-modulated fees are so effective at doing so that the European Union has mandated all programs use them by 2023. We understand that everyone will have to adjust for this new law, including CARE. We want to thank CalRecycle staff for their hard work on this item. NSAC supports the comments made by my colleague Joanne Brash with the California Product Stewardship Council, an affiliated organization. NSAC will support the CalRecycle director whether he chooses option 1 or 2. However, the director made it clear in the last hearing that there would be no more delays given to CARE for enforcement based on the long history of noncompliance. If the director chooses option 1 and takes staff's direction, we will not support any more delays beyond this, as the state needs this program to work much better than it is now. CARE has a long history of bad behavior, and we think it's shameful that CARE and their members are continuing to fight in the courts the fines already assessed by CalRecycle and instead of taking responsibility for the fact that they failed to meet very reasonable goals. We hope that all the CARE members are on notice that they will be expected to pay these fines. It is sad that CARE is wasting time and money that could be better spent achieving a successful program. Lastly, with all the recent information about the dangers of PFAS that Joanne mentioned, showing up in landfill leachate and even in our own bodies, we are disappointed that CARE has failed to study PFAS, an emerging issue of significant importance for the health and well-being of our society, and its impact on the entire product chain, including the collectors and recyclers. The Department of Toxic Substances Control is having a hearing on the PFAS issue on December 9th, and will be there to push DTSC to quickly study and regulate PFAS. We encourage the industry to lead and ban them from being used in carpet as soon as possible. This is the equivalent to lead to the paint industry, and the carpet industry should be careful to address it quickly or risk more liability. Thank you.
David Bender, Circular Polymers. Circular Polymers supports the continued CARE plan. I think that 2019 demonstrated what CalRecycle, CARE, processors, and collectors can achieve by working together cooperatively. 2020 will see further demand in products from carpet recycling across all polymers and carpet types. This will cause convenient collections to grow exponentially, not because we have to, but it's required just to support the demand that we're currently seeing and the 2019 numbers that I assume have been reported to you on an ongoing basis. CARE has been a partner to Circular Polymers. Their knowledge has been instrumental in making very complex deals a reality, and we want to thank them and thank you for working so closely with us in 2019 and growing the number that we saw up there so significantly.
Ron Greitzer, President of Los Angeles Fiber, Reliance Carpet Cushion. I agree with everything my colleague Dave Bender said. We do support the current plan that CARE has. We do support staff's recommendation to give CARE more years to be the stewards of this organization. We do support Bob Peoples, Dr. Bob Peoples, and his staff, his team, to continue as our stewards. We believe that the growth that we've seen, and it's been incremental growth every single quarter, is due to the current plan in place. We believe it's working. We've built businesses, we've hired employees, we've increased our diversion, all because of this CARE plan right now. So thank you, Director, for your consideration.
All right. I believe there is one more public comment from Dr. Peoples, and I think he brought some slides. All right, welcome.
Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Director Smith-Line, and to the CalRecycle staff. I appreciate the opportunity, as always, to make some comments, hopefully to put some things into perspective. I'm not going to use my time to address some of the comments made here today. All I will say from a general point of view is that things are not black and white. It's easy to make a suggestion. Sometimes it's hard to implement those things, and implementation takes a lot longer than most people really expect. As you'll recall, at the end of Q2, CARE's recycling rate achieved that all-time high of 18.4% that Fareed shared with you a few minutes ago. Today, I'm delighted to share with you, hot off the press, the Q3 results for 2019. Those results are based on some deep foundational work and successfully developing and building through our grants and through our technical assistance and market development efforts. If you would, Teresa, you've got it up there. Okay, so you can see the number, 19.9%. I think that once again, you'll notice that the recycled output is setting a new quarterly record, and also the recycling rate has set another new program high of the 19.9%. Our recycling rate is up 80% in the past 3.5 years through August of this year, and I fully expect by the end of this year we will be up 100% and at the 24% recycling rate mandated by statute. I note on the graph at which point the grants have been activated, and if you look up until that point in time, the trajectory of that curve has been a steady, pretty much a linear upward trend. But if you look carefully, beginning about the time those grants were released, and that we were authorized to release those grants, the curve is starting to take a more exponential trajectory as opposed to linear trajectory. I don't want folks to expect exponential growth quarter on quarter, because that's really tied to incremental project expansions, which are tied to grants, business decisions, private equity funding, such factors. I also hope that everyone saw the recent Eastman announcement and the role that Circular Polymers played in accomplishing that project. As Mr. Bender stated, that work involved collaborative efforts between Circular Polymers, Eastman Chemical, CARE, and the CalRecycle staff. And I think, as he pointed out, these are the kind of accomplishments we can make when we collaborate and work together. It was exciting to see that project come together, and it came together pretty darn quickly, considering the degree of collaboration that took place in communications. I'd also add that the largest recycler in the state, Los Angeles Fiber Company, has significant growth plans ahead and underway for 2020. At the same time, I want to note to you there have been a number of opportunities that are not reflected in that grant, that chart up there, because these opportunities have not yet come to fruition. I'll note just a couple. The Aquafill Woodland facility is a good example as a result of the power issues with PG&E. That plant could not be energized in a timely fashion, and as a result, there was a loss of significant recycled output in the second half of the year, and especially in Q4. We've had another project in Southern California that's been delayed due to permitting problems or permitting delays, not with the project, but with the city of Vernon and their permitting process. And then I would also note that we have a couple of grant recipients for a variety of reasons, some including equipment challenges. Unanticipated delays have missed their timing marks and their volume commitments, which would have added from several million to tens of million pounds in the second half of this year, and certainly in the fourth quarter of this year. Had those projects come to fruition, we would be well over the 24% already at this point in time. Yet, despite all that, the good news is that we're continuing to grow the recycle output, and not only do I reasonably expect that we'll achieve our 24% in Q4, but we are very well positioned for full year outputs to bring significant recycled output and thus increase the recycling rate going into 2020, especially with programs like the Eastman commitment being a full year impact on the recycled output pounds as opposed to just a few months in the last quarter of this year. And of course, we're excited to celebrate with Aquafil the eventual startup of the Woodland plant here in California, which will add another significant increment of capacity. And then finally, we do have another option that's another project that's tentatively on the books right now that will be another very large increment. Hopefully that will come to fruition in 2020, probably the second half of 2020. My initial forecast for 2020 shows solid performance as expected. CARE looks forward to continuing our work with the recyclers and deliver on all of the expectations required under the California expanded carpet stewardship laws, and also working closely with the CalRecycle staff. I want to reiterate, we're excited about the additional growth expected in 2020. Till this end, I'll reserve that carpet recycling itself is undergoing a transition from an opportunistic handshake business to a supply chain, contract-driven, high-volume business environment. This is being driven by the high volume and global players being engaged, Eastman being the first example of several we expect to have a full year impact in 2020 and beyond, and you've heard some of the names I've mentioned in the past. I think this is good news for all of us. Finally, I would like to conclude my remarks by just saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I wish you all safe holidays and a Merry Christmas. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peoples. So that concludes this this action item. We refer, the decision on the two options to the director.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. Dr. Peoples, I think this staff recommendation makes sense to me. I wanted to give today an opportunity to hear if there's any additional public comment that might be informative of this decision. I'm inclined to sign this. I will sit down with it one more time and take a look at it. With respect to some of the comments that I've heard today, I appreciate the concern that's raised by some of the stakeholders. It's a concern that the department has had. However, to be quite specific with respect to enforcement, when the department has indicated that we were going to pursue enforcement, we have done so, and we have done so aggressively where appropriate. The fact that CARE has chosen to contest the administrative proceedings as well as to pursue their civil options in court, that is their right, that is due process. I'm confident that those proceedings will end positively for the state of California, but it does take time. With respect to pursuing enforcement actions at this time, frankly, there's a lot of things that we have to balance. CARE has shown progress. I mean, this has been the most iterative process I've been through in my life in terms of any public proceeding. I mean, over the last years, I mean, there's just been so many iterations of what we've been doing. But the fact of the matter is they have shown progress with respect to this. There are still some significant shortcomings. With respect to Chapter 0, we've made those clear. There's not a risk or liability to the state in deferring enforcement at this time, particularly because there are a number of other items due to 729 that need to be taken on. So we can look at all the progress and all those things together. I'm slightly hopeful that, again, this is a difficult balancing act that we conduct up here, but we care very much about the economic health of the recyclers, because if we lose the economic health of the recyclers, we lose the program. So the fact that the recyclers are still here telling us that they're hopeful that we're moving in that right direction, we take that seriously. But we will be holding CARE accountable to Chapter 0 requirements. And if they're not fulfilled, we will pursue enforcement, and I think they understand that. So I don't have any further comments on that. Thank you.